Kadena's native cryptocurrency called KDA is slightly waking up, but I think better days are ahead because reaching the price of $25 during this bull run, that right there is still my price target. I'm not changing that. And even though nothing I say is financial advice nor a guarantee, I do believe that Kadena is that special because here's the thing. Everyone as of right now likes to focus on some random caca nonsense like Ethereum. But in my opinion, I just don't get it. Sky high gas fees and it's arguably not even scalable. And then in other cases, they like to say that, oh, BNB is so amazing, all this type of stuff. Well, keep in mind, just last year, according to Crypto.com research, slightly over 2% of the crypto hacks that happened, again, that year actually occurred on the BNB Smart Chain ecosystem. So is that great? I don't think so, right? I think that's kind of caca, to be honest. Now, let's say we take a look at something like Solana. Everyone says, yeah, Solana is amazing, all this type of stuff. Well, take this into consideration. Solana, first of all, allegedly is very heavily VC backed, right? Venture capital backed. Now, when you take a look at something like that, is it acceptable for Solana to be the way it is as of right now? I don't think so. Now, this may ruffle some feathers because people may think, whoa, it's done very well. And I agree. But if you take a look at Solana, what is the ecosystem known for? Primarily just meme coins. And I'm not necessarily saying they're bad or anything like that because I'm bullish on meme coins as well, and also some on Solana. But then if something has that much like VC support in a sense, quote unquote, why would the ecosystem just be known for meme coins? I think that's kind of a letdown. You know what I mean? Also, on top of that, you take a look at, for instance, Solana at one point experienced 8 different network outages in just a time span of a year. So if you take a look at its reliability, it's not all that dynamic in my opinion. It just doesn't feel that smooth. At least that's the way to take a look at it. Now, granted, people like to say that it's been fixed, and I guess I'll believe that. I mean, we'll have to see in the long term, but it is what it is, right? Do you see any of these type of nonsense going on with Kadena? You just don't see it. Now, is Kadena as massive as them? Absolutely not. I mean, come on, right? But then still, fundamentally, it's just a lot better. Here's the thing. Kadena is like that one basketball player that hasn't gotten its time to shine yet. You know what I mean? It's like a tennis player that hasn't really been in any competitions, but then is very good. So when I take a look at something like Kadena, it's somewhat a hidden gem. Now, is KDA like a small cap by any means? Absolutely not. But again, I think it's somewhat a hidden gem amongst the giants, if that makes sense, because I think it's very dynamic and I think it's very wonderful. I mean, Kadena fits the bill as to what a layer 1 blockchain should be. Highly scalable, very secure, lightning fast, doesn't suffer from crazy nonsense like Ethereum, right? Sky high gas fees and all this type of nonsense. Now, Ethereum does have layer 2s out there to quite essentially kind of combat this type of nonsense. But in my opinion, something like Kadena is just much more dynamic. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Kadena, people like to say, oh, wow, the ecosystem isn't the best. It's not the greatest. During a fully fledged bull run, sometimes people just don't care. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. If something like Luna Classic, something like Litecoin, something like Klima DAO can pump, right, and find a very good bottom, why can't something like KDA also do well? I'm not saying it's going to be the best performing thing out there because keep in mind, $25 is around a 30x from here. So I'm not saying that it's the best hypothetical upside. I'm not saying that. But then at the same time, am I saying that it's the worst? No. I don't think it's that bad in my opinion. Yeah, sure, it's not a 100x hypothetically. But then at the same time, it's not like a 3x. You know what I mean? It's not a dinosaur like a BNB, like a Bitcoin, or like an Ethereum, or like a Solana, for instance, that can't do, let's say, over a 20x from where they are as of right now. At least that's the way I take a look at it. Now, here's the thing. When it comes to Kadena, a major concern that people like to tell me is that, oh yeah, Pact, the programming language that is used in Kadena smart contracts is very difficult. They say it's very complicated. Well, here's the thing. First of all, many people who say this, they're not even developers, so I don't know why they would think it's difficult. They're just basically regurgitating what another person probably said, right? Who knows? I'm just assuming. Not to mention, do you think a programmer is going to have any difficulty programming with different languages? I don't think so, man. If people think that, learning it is so hard, think about this, right? John Cena learned Mandarin. You got to think about that, right? Learning Mandarin is no easy task, in my opinion. Me, I can understand Mandarin, but then I can't speak it very well, at least. You know what I mean? But still, even besides that point, the way I take a look at it is that when it comes to John Cena, I mean, he again can speak Mandarin. So these programming masters or these programming gurus or these like people who are doing programming full time, they can't learn Pact, let's say. I mean, caralho, Poha. I think they could very easily do that. So I think this is a very bad argument because oftentimes people like to say that, oh, because Pact is difficult, Kadena is not going to gain good adoption. I disagree with that. If a developer believes in Kadena, in my opinion, they're going to find one way or another to find a programmer, or let's say they're a programmer themselves. They're going to find a way to build on that, right? People like to say that, oh yeah, building is difficult. Well, I mean, anything could be considered difficult if you really think about it. Someone can say, oh, playing golf is difficult. Well, yeah, that's why there's professionals. That's why people train. That's why they practice, right? You know what I mean? It's like telling Tiger Woods that, oh yeah, you shouldn't golf when the wind is too strong because, it's difficult. What? If it's the golf tour, he's going to have to do it, either way, right? Hypothetically, I'm assuming. So when it comes to Pact, I think it's a very bad argument to use against Kadena. Now, people also like to say that, oh yeah, when it comes to Dr. Stuart Haber, who, by the way, is the most cited author in Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin white paper, and also on top of that, he happens to be the co-inventor of blockchain. And this isn't a joke, by the way, but even besides that, he's part of the Kadena team, believe it or not. He's part of the advisory team, I would say, when it comes to Kadena. Now, when it comes to this, people like to say that, oh, having Dr. Stuart Haber is a marketing gimmick. It's complete caca. Well, why is it bad? If let's say it is a marketing gimmick, I don't mind. I want them to actually promote this. I want them to show off about this. And that's why I'm even talking about it, even though I'm not even part of Kadena. I feel like this has to be mentioned because why not? So in a meme coin, let's say, right, partners with a random celebrity, that's okay. When they partner with some random athlete, it's okay. But then when Kadena actually has a real deal individual, Dr. Stuart Haber, as part of their team, it's suddenly not okay. I just don't get it. You know what I mean? So the way you take a look at it is that why would this be viewed as a bad thing? I just don't understand that. Yeah, sure, Kadena isn't like some sort of meme coin project, but in my opinion, if it helps, why not? Because we've seen time and time again projects that are amazing, but then have very bad exposure. They don't really have a marketing technique. So then during a fully fledged bull run, they do a little bit caca. You know what I mean? But then when it comes to Kadena, I do like it. I do like the angle that they have, having Dr. Stuart Haber as part of their team. Whether or not it's a marketing technique or gimmick, I think it's working because I even like it. I'm even talking about it. So I think it's good nonetheless. And also on top of that, KDA has pretty decent exposure, listed in some pretty good exchanges. I'm not saying the exposure is the best, by the way, but it's pretty good in my opinion. Now, also on top of that, you take a look at when it comes to Kadena, sometimes people like to say that, oh, wow, man, it's not going to gain mass scale institutional adoption in the next 6 months to 10 months, or just like mass scale adoption, period. And to me, I agree with that. Now, some people may be shocked by this, but to me, it's only logical. Mass scale adoption takes years, and I'm not expecting Kadena to do that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to do bad because, again, even something caca like Luna Classic pumped like crazy, right? Even something caca like Litecoin even pumped. Even Klimandao, again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, that found a bottom. And really, for instance, right, you take a look at Luna Classic. Do you think it has mass-scale institutional adoption? I mean, come on, man. You take a look at Do Kwon, right? Allegedly, he fled to Europe and allegedly he got apprehended. So when I take a look at something like that, the way I view it is that if they can do good without any real focus, really, why can't something like KDA at least go to the price of $25 during this bull run? Especially when I consider how there's over 600 million crypto owners, according to Crypto.com research, which is more than ever before in history. You take a look at the Bitcoin ETF, the Ethereum ETF, and even though I think Ethereum is caca, I do think that the ETF is great for the crypto space overall. And not to mention, when you have a lot of positive sentiment, I don't see why not. As the old saying goes, a high tide raises all ships. So if Bitcoin, let's say, goes to the price of $150,000 and maybe even beyond to $200,000 and maybe even more, we don't know, right? Bitcoin is going ham as of late. Now, am I saying there's going to be no pullbacks along the way? I'm not saying that. I think there's probably going to be a couple pullbacks, but who knows? But at the end of the day, no matter what, I think the general direction could very well be positive, let's say in the next 6 months to 10 months, which is why I'm not going to give up when it comes to Kadena. If Bitcoin, let's say, goes to the price of $200,000, KDA can't, let's say, go to the price of $25, I just don't see why not. Considering current circulating supply, market cap at that point would be around $7.5 billion. That's not even 10% of Dogecoin's all-time high market cap. I mean, come on. Dogecoin at one point reached over $80 billion in market cap. I'm not saying that it's, Dogecoin by any means. It doesn't have the fans like that. And also it's not a meme coin, but still, that's like so minuscule in the grand scheme of things. I don't see why not. Around 6 months to 10 months from right now, I think things could be a totally different story. which is why I'm staying patient when it comes to KDA. And again, at the price of $25, that right there wouldn't surprise me whatsoever during this bull run. I'm not going to wait for KDA to go to the price of like $5 before I FOMO into that. That's not my style, man. When I believe in something, I believe it from the get-go, and I'll just see where it goes. But again, $25 wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.